Go.
A word salad of creative thought. I don't believe that being good at a skill is simply about the technical prowess of it. I think it comes down more and mostly to the point of being able to communicate an idea to a mass audience of people. And the better you are and the more clear you are at communicating an idea to a mass audience of people, the better you're going to be and the better you're going to be perceived in that specific world that you operate in, whether it's art or engineering or whatever it is. It's all about being able to transcend a vision and communicate it into this world where everything that we create is based on visionary states. I don't think it's a bad thing to be an overthinker. I don't believe that. I only believe that it's a bad disposition to be in when it debilitates you from getting anything done, because you think yourself out of achievement. You think you end up convincing yourself that if it's either not worth it, or there's almost like with a hyperactive mind or a hyperactive visionary mind, I've experienced this where I'll have an idea and I'll think it to death to the point where I physically created in my mind of what it could be and where it could go and how it could be presented in the real world, that it almost feels complete and I don't get it done. This has happened to me multiple times, where I'll just overthink an idea to completion and never actually get it done, because it takes time to get through the process of manifesting a vision into this world. Art specifically is an emotional connection from one human being to the next, right? An experience of an emotional connection from one human being to the next. So it requires a lot of internal depth and thought and discovery. I don't write books all that often, but when I do, it's a therapy. It's usually me trying to understand something about myself. And it's a very dark process because it's where I'm most honest with myself. If I'm most honest with myself, it means the most. So I spend time, and I don't mind the extra time or the overthinking to be able to communicate that truth in a very good artistic way. Shots, writing, design of the page, the concepts, the dialogue between the characters. I don't mind the work involved over the course of several years to be able to communicate that truth in a way that is artistically fucking amazing. I don't mind that at all. If it comes down to something that's just busy work, I want anything to do with it, because I gain nothing from it. There has to be something I get out of this except just a product to capitalize on, right? To sell. It's like, okay, well, this is 4 years of work. Now I'm going to put out in the public. Here's a $40 book to be able to fund your next excavation of self to put into another project. There has to be something more to gain from it, and I think this is what keeps you in the creative process. These projects become totems of where you are in your life and the things that you had to discover about your life. They become almost their own artifact to a world that doesn't exist, that you brought into this world to be able to relate to another human being. And it stands the test of time. When you're gone, those emotions will still be here because we all relate to them. That book will still be here. So the sooner you start on these things, the better. I don't think I would have been able to write the book I wrote today had I not got this done. Even though it's not perfect, it was good for a 21-year-old kid to be able to write the project that I wrote now, which is so much more complex, with emotion and trauma and creative energy and excitement and action and lore and mythology. You have to start soon. I would encourage most people to start earlier with whatever they want to do. This is why we grow out of certain music, we grow out of certain movies, we grow out of certain things, because our experiences are so much more involved. Our understanding of life is so much more involved. This project I wrote now, it's a hell of a lot more elevated. I don't think a 20-year-old would be able to understand it. I certainly wouldn't have. I mean, think about it like this. A lot of the writing in this new project was inspired by Nietzschean philosophy, Greek mythology. Every year I get older, I go back and I revisit the Greek myths, and the older I get, the more I take away from it, because my understanding of life is different. It's more advanced, it's more deep, it's more connected to specific traumas and specific experiences, those of which I didn't have 20 years ago. One of the specific books that served as an inspiration was something I posted about prior, which was Thus Spoke Zarathustra. I couldn't understand or even read that book 20 years ago. I tried. It was too advanced for me. Now I look at it and go through it today, and it's like one of the most brilliant things I've ever read. I've made all kinds of annotations and notes in it to kind of reflect upon while I was writing this new project. The sooner you start, the more information you absorb, the more energy you could put out, the more you understand these kinds of concepts, to be able to translate them and transcend them into this place. It adds to your toolbox of emotions and communication. I'm very excited to talk about the process for the new book. I just have to take my time with it because there's so much involved in the difference between the process from this book and the process to the new book. There's so many sketchbooks, thousands and thousands of shots, hundreds of pages of writing and dialogue. It's a very complex lore inspired by multiple philosophies and ancient mythology, plus my own life as I write about, which is the most sincere form of art you can create, which is your own experiences and the truth within. But I have to structure it all out appropriately. I'm so anxious to talk about it because I'm at that Rubicon to release it.